Yeah, welcome everyone to Africa Street Journal. I must say I delayed some minutes because of my network, but everything is resolved and I'm online. In the first place, I want to thank everyone who is waiting online to have this conversation with me. My name is Moses Katamani. And somebody may ask, who is Moses Katamani? Moses Katamani is the more or less the chief editor of Campbell of Africa Street Journal. And this conversation we want to have actually concerns politics in Africa. And what we want to focus on in this discussion is on political party structures. Political party structures. In fact, why we want to do this discussion is the fact that, as I said in the previous video, Nigeria is going to the polls in 2023, that is in February. And one issue that arises or arose when one candidate, that is Peter Obi, joined Labour Party, the conversation of other parties in more or less to say that he doesn't have chance. They said there's no, Labour Party doesn't have any structure. It's a party without structure. And with the conversation, some of the conversations, when you listen to it, you tell yourself, is that not misleading? Because when we are talking about a political party having a structure, in a political system, a constitutional governance system, political party structures must be different from the state or the country structure. Yeah, the structure of political parties are different from the state or the nation's structures. The structures may be put in place along the structures of the nation or the country. However, when you talk about a political party having a structure, it is not the state or the nation's governance structure that we are talking about. One candidate, in saying what he wants to say, to more or less denigrate what the structure of whether Labour Party has a structure or not, said that Labour Party doesn't have governors, doesn't have representatives, or don't have senators. For that matter, how is Labour Party going to win? That is a misconception or a misrepresentation of facts. The fact is that I'm going to, in my conversation, in my discussion, I'm going to use two countries. I'm going to use Ghana and Nigeria as an example. And I'm going to give all the structures of both countries for our discussion. Now, so when we talk about political party structure, we are talking about the institutions that they put in place in the state or in the country from top to down, top to bottom. Yes, top to bottom. Yeah. So from the top to down, we need to, each party must have its own structures. And it is the structures that they are going to use to elect their candidates. And after the candidates are elected, they move into the state or the country structure. Therefore, each political party, whether it is in power or not, must have its own structures. So let me go to a party that is in power. For example, in Ghana, New Patriotic Party, that is NPP, is in power. In Nigeria, APC is in power. Now, as they go into power, as they are in power, they have what we call governance structures. A party in power will have governance structures and we must also have the political party structure. They are two different things. So if somebody says that a party cannot win power because it does not have structures, and the structure the person is referring to is that the party doesn't have a governorship, is not governing any state or don't have any state under its control, don't have senators or don't have representatives, that is a different structure from the political party structure. I think you will understand me now. So whether the party is in power or is not in power, it must have its own structures. And the structure that they have when they are in power is different from that of the party structure. I also heard, and when the Labour Party executives at the top, at the national level, want to answer, they also answered and said that Labour Party has structures. And what they are referring to actually is the structure of the political party, not their governing structure, whether the party is in power in a state or not. Let me make the difference in our analysis so that it will help us understand each other more. What we have to take note of is this. Depending on the political system, the system of government or the system of governance practiced by a country, the structure of the political parties in that country will be structured along. For example, Nigeria have federal system of government and Ghana has unitary system of government. So when you look at Nigeria's system of government, the structures, at the top you have the federal institution or federal government system, the systems that will be used to, the structures that will be used to govern the system. From the federal system or the federal government structure, you go to the state structures. The state structures, that area, that level is also another governing structure within a federal system. I will say that when I come back to talk about the institutions of federal system, we will understand this more. However, from the federal level, you come to the state level, you come to local government level, or in some countries, you see where a mayor is elected, that is the local government level. From the local government level, you have what we call the ward level. The ward level. The ward level can also be referred to as polling station committee, polling station committee, or polling station executives. So these executives at that level operate at the lowest level. So let me go over it again. In a federal system, you have the first level, which is the federal government, federal institutions. Therefore, for a political party, political parties will have the national convention. The national convention. And the national convention will elect the executives of that level. In some countries, the national convention is made up of everybody who is a registered member of that party. Then they will elect the national executives. The national executive now is the highest operational organization of the political party, if you look at it from the federal system level. So at that level, you have the executive committee at that level. And depending on the country and whatever the name is given, so the names may be different. However, some after that, the executives at the highest level, you have what we call board of trustees. And this board of trustees are more or less advisory committee. Apart from that, depending on the country, you also have executive committee. Those executive committees are the ones who support the highest level of the party structure. Thus, at the first level, you should have either a national board of trustees, national executive committee, then you can also have national working committee. That is the first level when we look at the federal system. When we look at Ghana's system, for example, the unitary system that is Ghana is practiced, at the top you have the national executives. The national executives can be elected by a convention, and in that convention, it can be everybody who is a member of the party, depending on the party's constitution. We elect those people at the highest level. Now, so for example, in Ghana, you can have what we call the national chairman, you can have the secretary, you can have the treasurer, you can have now some of in a political system, what we have to know is that we sometimes have to structure the structures along our history and all that view. Therefore, in Ghana and Nigeria, at the top level, you have what we call the youth executive. You have the women executives before you have the national working committee or the national executive. So these women represent these groupings. It is the same thing that is applied in Nigeria. So at the first level in Nigeria, you have the national committee, national working committee, national executive committee, national board of trustees. All these people, the constitution of the party defines who qualifies to be a member of that level. The same thing applies to Ghana. As I said earlier, every political party must have its own constitutions. And the constitution of a party must be written in a way that it will not violate the principles of state policy of the country. Principles of state policy of the country should not be violated by any political party's constitution. Now, so when you move from the national level, you will come to the next level. The next level in Nigeria will be the state level. And the state level, we can look at the state congress. The state congress. That congress is the executive committee, or are the executives of the party in that state. Let me give an example of Lagos State. Lagos State will have its state chairman. You have state secretary, will have state treasurer, will have state youth organizer, and have a state women organizer, and all other appointments that are made. And when I take you back, remember the appointment of these people who man these levels can be either through election or appointment. And in some of the parties, they try to put it in a way that there can be a balance, what we call regional balance, and all institutions or all levels of people or groups of people will be represented in that level. Yes, so Lagos State can have political party, either APC, PDP, Labour Party, can have the chairman, the secretary or general secretary of the party, depending on how they name it. They can have treasurer, they can have women organizer, youth organizer, and other bodies, under bodies or interest groups. Yeah, interest groups in that political party. Yeah, once again, take note, we are on Africa Street Journal, and our discussion focuses on the structures of a political party and what political parties, the structures you see as of that an operative political party, the structures they must have. I also give a difference between the governing structure of a country and a political party structure. They are two different things. They are not the same. And that you cannot say because a party don't have a governor, a senator, for that matter, they don't have structures, is a misconception. Yeah, so the level I am now is about the state level. The state level must have its own executives. Also, when you go back to Ghana, the Ghana structure is national level, you come to regional level, then you come to the state, district level or municipality level. Yeah, so that is the structure. The same thing applies to Nigeria. So in Nigeria, the district level in Nigeria is the local government level. Those are where the structures are. Now, the next level is what is called, within the setting or the context of Nigeria, is the ward level. The wards must also have their congress, and they must also have the working committee or executive committee. The same thing applies to Ghana. When you come to that level, some parties will call it ward, some will call it polling station executives. These are the structures that you look at when you are talking about political parties. And these structures must be operational. There must be people put in those positions with responsibilities to do whatever work they have to do. So that is more or less the human structure that must be put in place for effective operation of a political party in every country. And that, let me emphasize again, it must be the structure of the party which is contesting for a political office, to take office. And after taking office, the personnel that are appointed, like they have every party now have a political, have a presidential candidate, gubernatorial candidates, senatorial candidates, rep or House of Representatives candidates. When these people are elected, they move to the national or the state structure, the federal structure, or yes, whatever country you are talking about. So personnel, human beings. So when some parties say, we are working with human beings, and these are the human beings that will work, who are the structures. Yeah, they are having conversation. It is a correct way conversation. But the missing link is that are those people appointed into offices of the party? Thus, if I want to make that comment about Labour Party, yes, Labour Party is saying that yes, the men, the people who are living in poverty, the youth, the students who are out of school, they are the structures. Is that correct? Well, it can be that, yes, we are saying that those are the people we are looking forward to be our voters, those that who are not benefiting from the governance system will be the ones who will vote for us, but they are not the structure. Because you must put structures in place for a political party, and then you must appoint or elect personnel into those structures. Therefore, it must be from the top to bottom. Top to bottom. When I'm laughing about this, I know some people know what I'm talking about. From top to bottom, we must have personnel who are appointed or elected into those positions, and they are the personnel structure. Therefore, everything I talk about now up to the lowest level, either ward or polling station executives, they must be human beings with names who, after you elect these people, even before they are elected, the constitution of the party constitution must spell out the responsibilities of these personnel. Let me give two examples. One, national chairman of a party is an executive position. And depending on the constitution of the political party, that person, that office is the highest level in the party. And everything that is done before we say quorum is formed, before any issue concerning the party will be discussed, the national chairman of the party must be present. Or if not present, if it is allowed by the constitution of the party, the vice chairman or second vice chairman, depending on how they define it, can sit in chair to discuss issues concerning the party. So that is the national executive. Now, national chairman, actually. However, when it comes to communicating the positions of the party to the public, it could be the national, it could be the general secretary of the party who will do that conversation. Take note, even in their meetings, it is the national secretary, that general secretary of the party, who takes notes of minutes of the party. Some of them must have assistants. All these are personnel I'm talking about, and I'm now talking about the issue, the operations or responsibilities of these personnel. The national chairman is the highest office in some parties. Apart from that, the general secretary takes minutes every decision of the political party at their meeting. The general secretary takes note of their minutes, and this is done. After that, they can communicate this one to board of trustees or national executive committee, and this information go to them. Now, if it comes to financial issues, some political parties have a treasurer, and the treasurer is in charge of finances of the party. I'm talking about operational now. They are in charge of the finances of the party. And in some parties, before a party fund will be released to do anything, it could be the national chairman, the general secretary of the party, and also the national treasurer. It could be the four of them before funds can be released to do anything. And they also authorize raising of funds at the national level. So, like I'm saying, every personnel in a party must be given responsibility. And these responsibilities must be assigned to people because they are within the personnel structure. So the personnel structure, so you went from the national level, you come to the state or the regional level. They must also have all those structures in place, depending on what the constitution of the political party says. Then coming to the local government level, then coming to the ward or polling station executive level, all of them, the personnel must be assigned duties and responsibilities. And this, when we talk about the human structure, the personnel structure from top to bottom, then we must talk about what is referred to as channels of communication. For effective running of political parties, every political party must have structure or structures for communication. Because if the structures for communication is not there, there could be miscommunication. And when there is miscommunication, I'll explain it further. When there is miscommunication within the structure of the political party, you realize that the party will not be singing from the same notebook. In other words, their agenda or conversation of the position of the party may not flow. So for effective flow of communication through the channels of communication, there must be that principle, there must be that channel spelled out. I'm going to talk about the channels of communication from bottom to top, and that will help us. Then at the end of it, I will conclude on now talking from the top to bottom. And today, with my discussion, I intend to discuss first the personnel structure, which I have done already. And now what I'm trying to do is channel of communication. Channel of communication. Now, in a channel of communication, when information is flowing from top, it must flow through the personnel structure to the bottom. When there is an issue from the bottom, before it reaches the top, there is a channel that it must go through. So that is the channel of communication. In other words, when there is an issue to resolve or something to talk about from, let's say, the ward executive level or polling station executive level, who does the information go to at the top? Do you just jump directly to the national level? No. If it is an issue within the ward system, the territory of a ward, and that issue can be resolved, then the working committee of that ward or the executive committee of that ward will have to deal with the issue at the ward or the polling station executive level. That is the lowest level. Thus, if a member of the party have an issue with anything that is done within the ward, the report must go to the ward executive. Some call it ward chairman, some call it ward executive director, or depending on how the party spells it out. The working committee of the ward or the polling station executives will have to deal with the issue at that level. After dealing with the issue at that level, if the issue could not be resolved, then the issue can now move from the ward level to the local government level. So it comes to local government executives. And as I said already, depending on how the political party names it, the information or the report will have to flow from the ward level to the local government level. Now, if the issue concerns only local government level, the flow of information from ward to local government, that is the end. However, if the issue must go up to the state level, in the example of Nigeria, then that information will not jump from the ward level, should not jump from the ward level and go to the state. No, it must pass through the local government level before it goes to the state level. And at the state level, as I said earlier, you can have a working committee, or you can have the state congress, or the state executive committee. That issue will have to go to them at that level. So you see that the flow of information, as I say, from bottom to top, from ward level, state level, local government level, then you come to the state level. Now, if that issue will need to go to the highest level, which is the national committee, executive committee level, then the issue goes to that level. Then that is the highest level that issue can be discussed. So with that conversation, with that discussion, I have to give an example. So let's say, for example, election of zonal chairman, a zonal chairman, because zonal chairmans work in the local government level. When you look at the example of Nigeria, Now, a zonal chairman election or executive election, and there's a dispute, and the dispute could not be resolved within the ward or the zone level, then that issue of the conflict of interest, whether this person qualifies to be or this person is the right person to be elected or not, then that issue of the zonal chairman election can go to the local government level, not resolve state level, not resolve national level to deal with. So that is conversation from bottom to top. Communication, channel of communication. That is what I'm talking about now. Now, if there is an issue to talk about, let's say, parties' strategy for electing or in a campaign situation, as in Nigeria's situation now, as gearing up for campaign, at the top, to elect a presidential candidate, all the parties currently are strategizing on how they are going to do the campaigning. They are strategizing about the issues and how they are going to communicate it. They are strategizing. They are working on their, what we call, manifestos currently, I can assure you. If they have not completed it, they are still working on it. So at the top level, the strategy to help elect their presidential candidates at the highest level, there are strategies that are going on. And these strategies, the parties can elect or appoint some group of people who will be in more or less a committee. They will have to form different committees. Those are also structures, because after the executive, national executives, they have to elect or appoint working committees for various conversations, for various assignments. These working committees, they will be assigned responsibilities to do certain things. Like I'm saying, so the example I'm giving is strategy. They are now working within that highest level, strategizing for political campaign and how they are going to communicate about issues. Let me give you an example of an issue. For example, the issue of economy. Now, APC is the one in power, and they know that more or less everybody, this is an open secret. APC knows that the economy currently under their watch, the watch of the party, is not good enough. Now, they will have to, now I know, I can assure you, they are thinking about how to counteract or counter any argument against them about what they have done about the economy of Nigeria. Another example could be that PDP now will be thinking about how they are going to attack APC, about how, in quote, they mess up the Nigerian economy. They will talk about it. It will be a strategy issue, and how they will have to capture that conversation. They are working on it at the top level to be able to support their presidential candidates. They are doing it. Another one could be Labour Party now, yes, which has not been in power since 1999 after coming into force the fourth Republican Constitution of Nigeria. Labour Party has not been in power. Now, Labour Party now is also strategizing about how they are going to deal with the conversation concerning the economy by APC and by PDP. As they have not been in power before, their strategy could be, we have not been in power before, you have not given us the power to manage the national economy, and we have not messed it up. Therefore, you cannot hold us accountable for whatever mess we are now, in quotes. I'm just having conversation. I'm just having discussion. So you should understand me. So these three political parties will have different strategies at the top. Now, this strategy, in order that there will be effective flow of information, they need to communicate these strategies to the down levels. The strategy must be made aware to the working committee of the state that this issue concerning the economy of Nigeria, this is the strategy to have conversation, to convince Nigerians about what they need to do or trust them to and give them power. That's how they will do it. So all the three political parties that I'm giving example about in Nigeria now, APC, which is in power, PDP, which has ever been in power for several years, and Labour Party, which has not been in power before, they will all have different strategies, and this strategy will have to be communicated through the channels up to the world level. That is what you will be looking at as channels of communication from the top to bottom. Top to bottom, yes. So this will be the channels of conversation or channels of communication, yes. Yeah, so this is how it will flow. Now, if it's going to, so my focus now in the channels of conversation or communication is focusing on Nigeria. As I said earlier, our focus is going to be more on Nigeria because they are entering a campaign season, and 2023 February, they will be having the election. So my focus now in the channels of communication, is focusing on Nigeria. Now, so if the issue concerns the top, the presidential candidates, the vice presidential candidate at the top, the strategy will flow from the top to bottom about how they will have to look at, they will communicate the issues and how they will counter any argument against their presidential candidates. Now, if it comes to governorship level, the strategy will be around the governorship candidate is the one who is being presented to the state to be elected as the executive governor of the state. Therefore, the strategy will have to flow within the state. From the state level, it will come to the local government level, and it will go to the ward level or the polling station level. That is how the communication will flow. If it will be election of local government chairman, it will be from the top to bottom. So these are some of the channels of communication that will have to be adopted by the political parties. And therefore, two things that I'm talking about now, I have spoken about. One is the personnel structure from top to bottom. Then I also talk about communication structure. In other words, channels of communication to be able to have effective campaign for election. The last thing I will have to talk about structure, and this one I'll just tackle it, and later we will look at it, will be about how the political parties will have to organize their personnel, their facilities, in other words, logistics, how the structure that will have to work with logistics, and how these political parties will have to fund their presidential candidates, the governorship candidates, the senatorial candidates, the reps, House of Assembly, and what have you. All of them, there should be logistic structure, a structure in which, let's say, money or things that are needed for campaign will have to flow through. So I will want everybody to understand that when we talk about political party structure, it doesn't mean because we have somebody who is already in power and that we can rely on that person and we are looking at that person as the structure of the political party. It is a wrong presentation and it is a wrong conception. Conceptualizing of things, we must know that the structure of governance for a state, for a country is different or should be different from the political party structure, and that the personnel who work within the political party structure should be different from those who work as in government. Because to conclude on this issue, we have to note, if a party in power is going to be effective, then people who are appointed to go into government must not have any political party appointment or not be elected into those positions. They can be they can be taken into committees as working committee members, advisory levels, but it should not be appointment to stay in an office. So it can also generate conflict of interest. For example, a party chairman holding that position and is also a governor of a state. Conflict of interest. That person might not even have time to do effective work for the party. Therefore, you will realize that it is very important for us to define the personnel structure of the political party. It is very important to define the channels of communication of the political party for effective running of the party for a possible election into political office. I think this conversation has just started. I know some people came online and left, and I have to once again say very sorry for the late start of the program because of some technical issues. but everything I wanted to look at, I have looked at. That is the personnel structure of political parties and channels of communication, or channel structure of communication for effective communication, so that there will not be miscommunication within the political party. So before I end this conversation, I want to appreciate everybody who comes online to watch this video, because I have to change the channel in order that I can speak directly because of the challenge I have with the channel I set up. I'm going to reset up this and I'll share it on all our platforms, and you can also share it with people you will want them to listen to, so that in the conversation they will not be telling you that somebody who is in governorship position, that's the person who is forming a structure for a political party, is forming a structure for a governorship or governance structure of the country or the state. This I want to say, very important for this conversation to continue. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel, and if you have anything you want us to discuss, you can send it to us. You can write it against our videos, and when we see it, we'll review it and we'll come and schedule time for the discussion. And we know the discussion is going to be interesting. The one we did previously announcing this conversation was, I would say, was wow, because many people begin to send us some messages. I don't want to talk about that now, but people are liking our videos. I want you to invite people to listen to our videos, and we'll keep the conversation going on. Remember, as we say at Africa Street Journal, we are shaping the conversation for Africa's development. For a country to develop, or countries of Africa to develop, we need the knowledge and we need the skills. Knowledge and skills are very important. Countries must have what we call national development plan. I can tell you that the whole of Africa, Egypt, we know they have national development plan strategy. But when we say a plan, the plan will be a long-term plan. For Ghana, the unfortunate thing is that even the national development planning is politicized. Therefore, when one party comes to power, all the planning, the strategies that are put in place for a number of years development, they put it at the back burner, or they just put it out without any, and they put their own agenda in place to amass wealth for themselves. So Ghana don't have national development plan, which we can look at and see the next 10 years, because a party will adopt one, another one will come, nothing. In Nigeria, the same way. Nigeria, there should be national development planning at the federal level. Then there should be state development planning at the state level. And there should be gubernatorial and local government level planning. And all of them must take from each other. When I come to talk about how there's federal government structure, you understand me more, because there are 3 levels of power in the federal government system. We have what we call exclusive, concurrent, and residual power. These 3 powers are, if they are operational, there should be a national planning, a development planning at that level, at the federal level, at the state level. The same thing applies to every other country. Today, I'm just using 2 countries. my own country, Ghana, and I'm also using Nigeria as an example, two examples for analysis. But the truth is, every country in Africa needs to have national development planning strategy in order to look at different levels of development. I'll not go far about this. I just want you to know that there is so much we want to discuss, and when people begin to listen to the conversation, we will spread it all around, and it will get to individual states or country governments, and we will have to be pushing for them to do what is right to improve the living standard, the living condition of their people. I hope everybody who follow me or come to listen to this conversation will learn something from the discussion. As we say always, we are shaping the conversation, and as we are shaping the conversation in a national conversation, two things must apply: knowledge and skills. Knowledge and skills. What is the knowledge that we need in order to develop our countries in Africa? What are the skills, the manpower skills that are needed? All these things are needed in order to have countries that are working effectively, that it will not be any person who in the military time, when the military leader goes to sleep, whatever he thinks about, that's what the country will do. No. In a democratic system, there is a state policy, and the state policy must put in place effective structures for national development. I want to say thank you for following me in this conversation. And I want to say thank you so much to everyone who follow and those that will come back later to look at what I have done, the discussion I have done. Your criticisms are welcome. Yes, your criticisms are welcome, because with your criticism, we will evaluate whatever we are doing. We are not just coming online, Africa Street Journal, to make just noise. No, we want to talk with knowledge and skills, and we need knowledge to support whatever we are doing as people of Africa. Thank you so much for the conversation, and take note: political party structure, the two that we look at are: first, political party must have personnel structure. Two, they must have structure for communication, which is referred to as channels of communication. The communication, the conversation can be from top to bottom, or from bottom to top, or from bottom to the middle. All parties now in Nigeria are strategizing for how they are going to have their conversation with the electorates of Nigeria. Keep listening to Africa Street Journal, because here we will not come and make noise. We will come and interrogate the issues, talk about the issues, give you specific examples when the need arises. When we talk about the issue, we will give you references when the need arises. That is what knowledge is about. You must talk about the issue, give examples to buttress your conversation, and that if you come and you are just talking, or it's just like personal attack, then you are just making noise. So at Africa Street Journal, we don't want to make noise, but we want to tackle the issues and shape the conversation for Africa's development. Thank you so much. God bless. Interact with us, and we will take this conversation to another level. Thank you.